We are going to go through today distributing with the negative sign into linear expressions. So, for example, one type of problem we have been working with is the kind where you have an expression inside parentheses and you are taking away another expression. We're going to start a little bit simpler, where we have a number that is outside of that one set of parentheses. But what you have to understand is that there is a sign in front of that number and that we are taking away, or that entire second section is being taken away. So with the distributive property, everything inside these parentheses, both the 2x and the 2, have to be taken away. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the 6x plus 3. Inside of that, those are not like terms, so we cannot add them. So for right now, that just comes straight down. Then, if we're looking at the second part of this minus 2 has to get distributed or multiplied to the 2x and to the 2. There are two terms here, so there should be two terms down here when we go to our second line. That we are taking away a 2 times 2x, and we are also taking away the 2 times the 2. So this is the biggest error that I've been seeing the class make, is that the second one is turning into an addition problem. After this, I have not seen as many errors. You can just multiply out. So 6x plus 3, a minus 2 times a positive 2 is minus 4x, and a minus 2 times a positive 2 is a minus 4. At this point, we're doing fairly well with being able to say, okay, these are like terms, and these are like terms because they're constants. One thing that will help you with the positives and negatives, I've noticed, is if you look at the signs, if they are opposite signs, meaning I have a positive 6 here and a negative 4 here, if they're opposite signs, subtract. So keep the sign of the larger number. 6 is larger than 4, so you're going to have a positive 2x. 3 and minus 4, again, they're opposite, so subtract them. Their difference is 1, and the 4 is larger, so you're going to keep that minus sign. So if they're opposite signs, subtract, same signs, add. That is something that you can go to also remember there. Okay? Now, the next kind of problem that we are looking at, let me get rid of this up here. Sorry, this is a new tool. I'm learning as I go. The next kind of problem is what happens when I have a 2x minus 3, that's in parentheses, and I'm taking away an x minus 2. We also have been getting tripped up because of the fact that there's not actually a number here. It's just that negative sign. So if you remember what we've talked about in class, with that unwritten number is a 1. It can help you to go ahead, and anytime there's a variable or a minus sign or a variable that doesn't have a number in front of it, go ahead and put a 1 there. Because then it's going to be a little bit easier to see that we need to distribute a minus 1 there to everything after the fact, or after the parentheses. Again, this is an example where 2x minus 3 is just going to come straight down. There's nothing to be added here. They're not like terms. And then when we come down here, again, there's a minus sign here. So it's a minus 1 that's getting distributed to the 1x. And I need to minus a 1 that's getting distributed to here. Notice that's a minus 2. So again, you can look at just the signs. There's two negatives, and you know that that's going to make a positive. You can go straight there. Or write out both numbers as they appear in the problem, and then look at that there's a negative 1 times a negative 2, which makes a positive 2. So either way, when we then go to multiply out here, 1 times 1 is 1, and we're taking it away. We're taking away a 1x, we're taking away a negative 2. Everything else comes down just as it is. And then again, we're doing pretty well with identifying these as long as we remember to look at those signs in front as well. So here we have a 2 and a negative 1, so opposite signs. Subtract them. 2 is larger than 1, so it's a positive 1x. We have a negative 3 and a positive 2, so again, they're opposite signs, subtract. And this time, the 3 is larger than the 2, so we have a minus 1 at the end. Okay, so to kind of recap what we just did there, remembering that when we have linear expressions and those minus signs are there, that everything has to get distributed. Even if we have something like this where there's not a full expression in the front, okay, so I just have a separate number out here. We still have to follow the order of operations. So really, you're taking away all of this from the 5x. And we cannot subtract until we take care of the distributive property and the multiplication. So as much as we want to do 5x minus 2 first, or 5 minus 2, or whatever happens to be in front, this whole multiplication problem has to be handled first. So again, just as though it was a regular expression like we've been doing, this 5x is just going to come straight down for right now. And then we need to distribute this minus 2 to everything that's inside the parentheses. It would also be the same case if we had not 2, but let's say we had 3 numbers inside those parentheses. This minus 2 would have to get distributed to everything that's inside the parentheses that it's next to. So again, look at this as you have, you're taking away all of this. So you're taking away the 2 times 2x. And just say it to yourself like I'm saying it to you right now. I see a subtraction sign, so I need to take away the 2 times the minus 4. So minus 2 times minus 4. So you should have 2 negative signs there. And then I'm going to take away 2 times the positive 3. So sometimes it does help with these kinds of problems to talk yourself through it and just kind of imagine Mrs. Collins sitting on the corner of your shoulder saying, what would she say? You're taking away. So I'm going to have 5x, and I'm going to be taking away 2 times 2 is 4x. I have a minus 2. I'm going to be taking away a 2 times negative 4. Okay? So a negative and a negative here again make a positive 8. Sorry about that. I kind of messed up that little line there. So there we go. And then I am taking away a 2 times 3. So I've got a minus 2 and a positive 3. So that's going to be a negative 6 as well. Now remember, those of us that like to have addition, feel free. You can do your keep, change, change, keep, change, change. You could even do that up here in your original problem and do a plus a negative 2 and just keep looking at all of these as plus negative 2s. There's a few ways to look at it. The key thing, though, that I'm seeing errors in is that making sure that that negative gets distributed all the way out, all the way to the end, to every single term that's inside. Okay, there we go. So feel free. I'm going to put a couple problems on this last screen here. I want you to try and solve them. And then once you have them solved, come see me, Mrs. Collins, haha, with your answers, and we will double check them before you move on to the next task.